You had Mexican cheese for lunch? Just cheese?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hold Up, the show where we dive deep inside your childhood nostalgia, pull the movies from your past out to see if they truly hold up. It is Die Another November, and we're dying again today. Andrew to my left, Kyle on the satellite phone. Today we're talking Thunderball.
Neat. Really,
Neato.
really cool.
Love the energy.
Yeah, so.
Well, that about wraps this episode up.
Yep, let's call it quits. All right, everyone.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Andrew.
Who thundered in your ball?
I don't have balls.
You don't? Not
No.
anymore?
No.
Same surgery as Benny.
Full frontal lobotomy.
Oh, yeah. Forced by the government.
Yes.
Tunisia.
For those of you that don't know, Andrew's dog's name's Benny. He's a brain dead poodle. Little lizard brain boy.
Well, you take that back. He's not brain dead.
He's a sweet baby, but his lizard brain, his survival brain turns on almost every day.
I mean, I don't think you have any place to insult my animals or talk shit about my animals.
I think we could all settle this by saying we all have brain dead animals.
Not true. Mine are intellectual babies who are ruthless killers.
Yeah, I'm sure squirrel climbing those blinds and scratching couches. That's real top-notch intelligence right there.
That's a common cat behavior. I'll have you know.
Okay. All right.
Who's dumb now, idiot?
Well,
The guy named Kyle. Always.
Speaking of names, we're talking about one name today. We're talking about Sean
Richard
Connery.
Connors. Richard Connors.
Sean Connery is the subject of our James Bond discussion today because we went back in time, saw Thunderball, which is the, fourth entry in the James Bond franchise and the fourth by?
I thought it was the 16th, but...
It is the fourth.
Okay. I was a few off there, but...
You were. When do you think this series started?
The 20s. 29 specifically.
That's absolutely wrong, Andrew.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow and, expand my mind.
All right. Well, listen to this and expand it. So Kyle found us a GQ article, which we posted on our Instagram.
Oh, is that where it came from?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were talking about the top bonds, which we discussed in our first episode of the series, and they did not pick Sean Connery as the number one Bond.
No, they didn't.
They went with Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, and then they went with Roger Moore as second.
Yeah, it's such an odd list.
It wasn't the second.
No, wait. Oh, it was Pierce Brosnan.
That's right. It was Brosnan. Roger Moore was fourth. My bad.
Which I could see Brosnan in it too.
Yeah.
But
that's the only place where we matched up.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like it was a very odd list, and me and Kyle were just kind of like, what? But I don't have as much.
I think that's why they
as
did
Kyle.
it. They just don't. It's just unintelligent, like uninformed opinions on things.
They did that for clicks and reactions.
Agreed.
Though I could see a valid argument for having Greg won, so I'm not going to completely disagree, but not my personal opinion there. So.
Yeah, but Connery 3 is...
Connery 3 is blasphemy. He's one or two.
And like, if you're going to do...
He's one or two.
If you're gonna
probably
go with,
one, but...
If you're doing Daniel Craig 1, you have to put Connery at 2.
Yes.
But they didn't do it by like the same criteria for each one. It was like... But like, they were like, well, Daniel Craig's a better all-out actor. But Timothy Dalton had more sex appeal. But George Lazenby, it's like... Can you grade them off the same fucking criteria?
Yes,
Or we just
stick to the mantra.
Well, and what they were saying was that Daniel Craig's movies were better, and I was like, actually, 3 of his movies are the lowest rated Bond movies.
Mm-hmm. They're very bad.
So like Daniel Craig for
Well, I disagree. Any of those are very bad, but
I would say Quantum of Solace is very
Quantum
bad.
of Solace is terrible.
that's the only one that I would say is bad. The rest I would never even categorize as bad.
The Spectre is terrible.
I fucking fully disagree with you.
But I will say this, and we can agree on this: Skyfall and Casino Royale are so good that they outweigh even the bad ones, and that's kind of what their list is built on. Is his 2 movies? Where do they equate in the rest of it? But I think if you look at Sean Connery's like collection of films, I think they're more consistent in the long run. There's no like
more classic too.
very classic, which is what we're looking at today. We're talking about all this. But before we get started, Kyle, I want you to tell me about your energy level using espionage terms.
And fewest words possible, please. I've already heard enough of your voice today, and I don't want to, drive myself insane, so thank you.
You said you want the fewest words possible?
Yeah.
In espionage terms? That's really vague.
Fewest words possible in espionage terms. Thank you.
Which that actually matches. Like, if you are in espionage, you want very little information.
We're onto something here. Let's see what he does.
We got it. This is going to be the most challenging one yet for you.
Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, there it is, everybody. That's the... I'm going to have to clip that one and put that one out there. That's Kyle's mood for today.
In espionage terms,
with very limited dialogue.
Very limited. Andrew had enough of me talking.
Now I kind of want more, though. So.
Well, you already crossed that bridge. We'll have to do it the next one.
Yeah, well, I'm indecisive, so deal with it.
So, Kyle, I'm going to start with you. Like, I think you're the only one with any childhood knowledge of this film, like where you watched it as a kid. Me and Andrew, nothing. This is actually my first Sean Connery Bond all the way through. Now, I've seen clips.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen clips of Sean Connery as Bond, so it's not like a foreign thing to me. But I've never sat down and watched one of his movies, and now I get to do it as an adult, which, we'll get to my opinions on it. But tell me, why is Sean Connery your number one Bond?
He just has all of the class. He's not trying to outact the role as well, which I think is important when we talk about some of these other James Bonds, like Diamonds Are Forever, whenever we get around to that one. Or there are some other ones that are just kind of, even in his world, like Never Say Never Again, which is more of a spoof. Even though it's still Bond, it's still a spoof. He doesn't try to outact it. He's not trying to do anything more than what's on the page. But he does it really well. He's quintessential classic secret agent Bond. And it's done most of his are in the 60s. And it was a time of less is more when it comes to those particular criteria. And you can tell with the movies that he stars in and the way that they're directed. Now, it doesn't mean that like the process of those is like easy or not tumultuous, but he effortlessly exudes that character. And there's really nothing anybody can say that's going to like sway me. If he's not your number one, he should be.
You're missing a huge factor as well, Kyle.
Oh, his peen?
I mean, we are going to be somewhat superficial here, but really it's not superficial. I mean, he's incredibly handsome, tall, like just has the physical persona as well, more so than, I don't know, I wouldn't say more so than others, but definitely Roger Moore, for sure Roger Moore.
Yes, for sure
Roger Moore's going to be taking a beating this month on this
podcast. Listen, nothing against the guy, R.I.P., but
just the physical specifications, requirements for Bond stem from Connery, in my opinion.
My God, is he charming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
He's very 60s male. And if you were one of those women he was strong-arming to just like, it's like, hey, time to have sex now. We're going to have sex together now. Like, you would love it. Like, you would love it, Andrew.
I mean, yes.
That was an incredible Sean Connery, by the way. I'm going to give you
No, I don't think.
He tones down his Scottish a bit for these. It's not nearly as bad.
It's nowhere near as bad. But Andrew, do your best Sean Connery.
No,
right now. No, you got to.
Junior. I'm not gonna.
That was good though.
I'm not gonna be one-upped by the bitch on the satellite phone. So I'm not gonna let that happen.
You think he would one-up you? You don't.
Oh yeah, his Sean Connery is far better than mine. So I'm not giving you all that bait.
Oh my God!
Oh, I bet you'd like that if I was the master at that too.
So Andrew, we didn't watch any Sean Connery Bonds.
True.
I don't think, right?
I've seen From Russia with Love.
But did you watch it as a kid?
I watched it shortly after the video game came out.
But that was we were like what, middle school, high school?
Yeah, I was like 13, 14.
So what do you remember?
I remember not really enjoying it because I just wasn't mature enough for it. I didn't appreciate
I don't think I would have either.
The mood, the artistry. I mean, these give me like film noir vibes. Like they for
They're
sure
classic
do.
cinema.
Yeah, and my palate at age 12, 13 was not ready for that.
No,
I didn't give a shit.
So what do you remember Sean Connery from as a kid?
Indiana Jones. Yes. And The Untouchables.
You know what I remember him from?
What?
My first Sean Connery movie that I always thought that was like his like big role was The Rock with Nicolas Cage
Really?
from '98. Yeah.
No, it was.
All the amazing, excellent movies, including The Untouchables, but The Rock. Woo! That's a good one.
I haven't seen The Rock, so I can't speak on that.
We should do it on this show one. We should do a Nicolas Cage month and do The Rock.
Oh God, we could throw some classics. In there,
Gone in 60 Seconds and The Rock. All this. But that's what I remembered him from, and then League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Those were.
Oh yes.
I never like thought of him as Bond, and I know a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, that's James," but that's the original James Bond. That's the James Bond of James Bond.
One of the things that the GQ article pissed me off with was they were like, Daniel Craig has also had a prolific career separating himself from Bond outside of the Bond universe. And I was like, what the fuck do you think Sean Connery did? It's solely like such a dumb, idiotic thing to say.
It's recency bias. Let's just say it. It's just recency bias with Craig.
It was just it's a lazy fucking article. And I think they need to do better because it really pissed me off. And like, I don't really give a shit about that kind of stuff, but I was like, it's completely goes against what you said to say that. And it's like, I don't have anything against Daniel Craig. I think he's a tremendous actor. And if we're rating the two actors together, I agree. I think he might be a little bit better than Sean Connery in some areas, but that's not the point. And they kind of just like stuck their own thumb up their ass just to be a like contrarian piece of shit. But Sean Connery had a prolific career outside of those movies.
Yeah, Sean Connery is I love Daniel Craig personally, but Sean Connery's Sean Connery for a reason, and he always will be. The fact that he lived till almost 90 and was just a towering figure in Hollywood for decades. Like, Daniel Craig's great, but he's not even close to that level yet, in my opinion. So he's just not. And it's no knock on Daniel Craig, who again I adore and I think is incredibly talented.
Daniel Craig's still got a career left.
Yeah, he's
still writing his own.
He's not
memoir.
I don't even know if he's 60 yet.
Yeah, and Sean Connery. How old was Sean Connery when he died?
He was like 89. Yeah. Daniel Craig is 57.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Connery
died at the age of 90.
He was 90. Yeah.
So,
well, let's be fair. To be 57 now versus then. 57 back then was like 78.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it's true.
In this movie, Sean Connery is only a year older than I am.
That's disgusting.
And he looks like he is 58.
Yep.
Oh, that's the cigarettes, baby.
Yeah, the cigarettes and the scotch, it'll do it for you.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, we picked Thunderball. We didn't go with Dr. No or Goldfinger. Why did we pick Thunderball again?
I think Thunderball is a criminally underrated Bond of the Connery Bonds. I think everybody goes to Goldfinger because it's so iconic and prolific, and there's so many characters that are unique. That's when it's a little chintzy. It gets a little like dumb. I think that's when we kind of give the Roger Moore era ammunition to be. Let's go outside of the box a little bit. Let's make a movie called Octopussy. Let's make it unrealistic and stupid. Dr. No is a little bit more on the other side of things, which Thunderball meets them both in the middle very well. But the villain Largo, he's one of the best villains in the Connery Bonds because he's grounded, he's realistic. But Goldfinger, not so much, I don't think. And Dr. No it's a great movie, but it's a little too bare boned, in my opinion. Like, versus something, You Only Live Twice. Very much like Thunderball, but a little too over the top. This is the most believable, the most entertaining, I think. The best shot as well. Like, the shots in this movie are beautiful. And the way they did it is amazing.
Yeah, there's going to be some shots we're going to talk about as we kind of break down this film that are still to this day super impressive to even talk about. It's super impressive they were able to get on film.
Exactly. I think that when we talk about classic cinema, I'm not a fan of classic cinema. I don't really like things that were made before the 60s or in the 60s. It's not my thing. I mean, as a kid, I was drawn towards this James Bond character, these movies, because they were pretty grounded. They were somewhat realistic, but also fantastical in some ways that were believable and fun, even as a kid. And my dad
let me ask you, when you say as a kid, when did you watch this movie? How old were you?
Probably like 9 or 10.
Okay.
Damn.
So, yeah, I think...
It's pretty young.
I want to take that momentum there because we talk about watching movies when we were kids and seeing what stuck now as an adult. That's this podcast. I feel like I had an appreciation of black and white, older classic movies when I was more of that age than I did when I was like 13.
No, it's the exact opposite for me.
Really?
Yeah, I was turned off by anything of that genre or ilk. I was like, no.
I watched a lot of movies with my dad in black and white, and when I was like, before I got to like junior high, and like I loved it. But then I think I got into that age of like, no, this is old bullshit. I'm never gonna watch this again.
I was always like that until I got older. It wasn't until I was older that I started to appreciate something a little bit different.
Right.
So, because I remember watching Christmas movies like Miracle on 34th Street, and what's one of the other ones? I
don't know. Someone rings a bell.
Every day gets her wings. That one.
Like.
I hate
It's a Wonderful Life.
I didn't care for those. Like I was like, I
still don't care for those.
I mean,
you're wrong. You're gonna have to give that one another watch because that's one of the best movies ever.
I disagree now. But when I was younger, no, I didn't like it.
Well, I will say that the first James Bond movie I ever watched was Tomorrow Never Dies, and then after that, I was hooked because that was the second Pierce Brosnan movie. There was no, I hadn't seen The World Is Not Enough, Tomorrow Never Dies, any of the Daniel Craig. None of that had come out yet. So the only things I could watch to scratch that itch, besides GoldenEye, were the older ones. And my dad specifically was like, well, let's get some Sean Connerys. And that's when I got Dr. No. Heavily watched that one. I watched You Only Live Twice.
Which I think Dr. No is voted as like the number one James Bond movie.
It's understandable why, but I think this should be for multiple reasons, but I get why. It's the original. Like, it's the one.
You always remember your first.
Right, Daddy? But these are good. They're good movies. None of the Sean Connery movies, except for maybe Diamonds Are Forever, and I'm going to catch a lot of shit for that, or Never Say Never Again, which was a spoof, were bad. They were all good.
And I want to go into a little bit of like the little history that I've learned from this movie. So, do either one of you know how this movie came about?
This one?
Thunderball?
Yeah.
No.
In what way?
So, Thunderball was originally going to be the first James Bond movie. Fleming was writing it, and then during the writing process, he had another writing partner, and I forget his name, but they had started writing Thunderball for like this Hollywood studio. Eventually, Fleming got mad about like how he had to deal with certain things and red tape and all the stuff that you do with Hollywood, so he scrapped it, went back to his home in Jamaica, and wrote Thunderball there for the novel. He ended up getting sued by his co-writer, who was like, that's our story. You can't use that just to profit off of. And I think they settled out of court. So when this movie was being made, that guy came back on as a producer. And that was part of like some of their like settlement in this. Also, Never Say Never, right? It came out how long after this, Kyle?
Never Say Never Again was in the 80s.
Was it
and
really?
that was Queen, yeah.
So
that was him coming back to reprise the role.
He came back to reprise the role,
83.
But that was the Thunderball script that was originally being worked on. And the guy that was the producer on Thunderball brought it back. It's all full circle at this point. But yeah, so this movie was supposed to be this and that and the other, and it ended up in this, and then ended up in a legal battle. But we finally got it in 1965. But that's why this is the fourth film and not the first, because there was a lot of turmoil around the plot of this movie.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is at that point, but it is a very popular movie. Thunderball's constantly being rated in the top 10 of James Bond movies. Kyle's take on it is it's one of his favorites. Would you rank this as your number one?
I would say this is probably my number one.
So this is your number one James Bond movie.
This one, I could make an argument for Casino Royale to be tied for this, because it's also an absolutely astounding movie.
That's an opinion.
Thank you, Andrew. That's also why we do the show, because it's a fucking opinion.
But I'm going to say I don't disagree with you.
We know where your allegiance lies.
I wouldn't say allegiance. Daniel Craig Quaig. Daniel Quaig, Jean was what really got me into Bond. So I love him.
I love him.
I love him.
Great.
Daniel Quaig.
Oh man.
We have to say his name like that every single time he's mentioned from here.
Daniel Quaig.
Daniel Quaig.
We will be doing some Daniel Quaig down the road, so just be on the lookout.
Give me Daniel Quaig.
I would like some Daniel Quaig, please.
Before we get started on the blow-by-blow of this movie, we've got some scenes to talk about in it. Andrew, can you give us some juicy 60s numbers?
Yeah. So, a budget for this movie, I'll start it off. Anyone? I just want you to guess what the budget was. Remember, 65. So, adjust for inflation here.
So bad at this. But I do know that this had at the time, it had one of the highest budgets of any Bond because they were so popular at the time.
And think about where it was filmed on the water in the Bahamas. Like, they literally filmed in the Bahamas.
They filmed underwater. They had all of
Yep.
it was practical effects. They had a Coast Guard helicopter and a repurposed B-24 or B-29.
For the folks at home, explain the significance of that, Kyle. What's a big deal about that?
Well, you have to, in order to use those, if it's not B-roll, which it wasn't, B-roll is just, stuff you get from shots you get that you just get in passing, or you don't have to have rights for them. You can get them anywhere. They're used for public domain essentially. Or they could be. If you want the Air Force, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, whatever ships, Navy, whatever ships, aircraft they use, if you want to use it, you have to get them to approve your script. You have to get them to sign off on the shots. I believe you have to pay them. Either way, the permits that they got for this film to shoot where they did and how they did could have only probably happened in the 60s. There's no way that this stuff would happen now the way it did. And I know Chase has some fun stories about some of the sequences they did.
There's absolutely no way that any lawyer lets this happen right now in any way, shape, or form. People almost died making this movie, and I mean in multiple cases.
And that's like when we talk about how cool this movie is, how special it is. It's because of those instances where they got a lot of. I mean, they got to use a real Vulcan bomber, which was part of the new
jetpack
and a jet. Yeah, multiple things that were used that were real, like real shit. It's just so cool that they did this in the 60s.
But budget-wise,
yeah, back to the question.
I don't know. I don't know what a 60s budget would a big budget in the 60s.
Just guess.
I want to say 20 million.
I was going to say 30.
No, it was only about 9. Only about
Big
9.
Spenders.
But that's a lot, because internationally, altogether, it grossed about 63,700,000 and some change. And this is where I want you to guess again. Don't look. What does 63,600,000 and some equate to in dollars nowadays, just adjusted for inflation?
I'm going to say about 500 million.
I was gonna go a little south of that and say like 360 million.
No, it's almost 800 million.
My God.
Almost $800 million.
My
So
God.
they were raking in the dough with
Yep.
this one. And probably a lot of them, not just this one. I bet this wasn't even the highest grosser for all
No, I
Bond
think
films.
Goldfinger might have been.
Probably.
So what movie came before this, Kyle? This is the fourth, right?
Oh, I don't. The fourth Doctor. I think Doctor No was first, and then I think
Finger was third, right?
Goldfinger was third. I think You Only Live Twice, I believe, was second.
It's Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball.
Tell me what Goldfinger's budget is. I want to see if it increased from Goldfinger. That would be something I'm curious on.
I believe it would have to.
I think it had to have, just because of the
Right.
location and how it was shot. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, Goldfinger was only about 3 million. So they tripled it.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
I would like you. Can you do me a favor and look up You Only Live Twice? Because I have a feeling that one probably matched Thunderball or close to it.
You want me to look up budget?
Yeah.
Okay. 9.5 million.
Yep, I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some Dr. No's probably didn't probably cost a whole bunch to make, which is probably why it made so much.
I bet it's like right at $1 million, maybe.
From Russia with Love is probably closer to like 4 or 5 million, just because it's a lot of its locations, yes, but it didn't have anything crazy big. That was more of a story. I mean, Destiny is too. A lot of them are, but like this just had so many practical effects in it that were so cool.
A lot of real explosions. They really blew shit up in this movie.
Damn.
There's a theory that Thunderball cemented Bond for what it was.
Yeah, You Only Live Twice was 43 million, so still a good 20-something below.
Mm-hmm.
They had to have advertised what they shot, too. Don't you think? Yeah. Like, the underwater scenes and all that had to be... Which, I mean, advertising then, too, is different.
Well, I don't know how... I know if you look at some of the movies, when I got them back in the day, they would actually have, like, Bond and his next adventure from Russia with Love, like, at the very end. And that was like, you're like, oh, shit, okay, cool, there's another one coming up. I don't know how they actually... Because, like, TV wasn't the same as it is now. Especially
because 65, like, I'm sure TV started having more... like nationally televised commercials. 65 would have been different, but probably more magazine covers, more articles.
Hey, what was something that died in like the late 60s, 70s? Not died, but it got a lot less popular with the advent of TV, another media source.
Talk about radio?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of radio.
Yeah, radio probably did it too. They had to have advertised like what they shot, because what they shot was still unheralded to this day.
Also, the idea of like a water adventure, I don't know. I feel like that's
a water war.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like that's different. You're not on land. We're taking this one to the seas, baby.
And not just any seas. We're taking this to Nassau,
the Caribbean.
We're taking it to Vietnam, baby. We're going to Vietnam, which we were at the time. So.
Well, speaking of Nassau, where does this movie begin? Let's go ahead and get started.
They're at a funeral for some idiot. Some French guy, Jacques Bouvier or something like that. Jacques Bouvier.
Jacques Bouvier. Yep.
And Bond is in the church. He's up in like there's not really balconies in the church, but like, the choir loft area looking down, and he's talking to someone, and they're like, you really wanted to kill this guy, didn't you? And he's like, yep, he killed such and such and killed this person and blah, 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 blah.
We made mention of this earlier, but it really struck me. The Scottish accent that Sean Connery is speaking with is very subdued. It's
very faint, yeah.
And I was like, it's almost like he's mumbling a little bit. Like, I have to turn the subtitles on.
We'll talk about this now. If you look at the beginning of, we'll talk about it in a second. I want to get there. But in the opening credits of this movie, there's like a whole section devoted to voiceover, because they had to do a lot of voiceover for this, and you can tell when you watch it, a lot of it, because there was mumbling, there was bad like audio, there were people that English was not their first language. It wasn't very clear.
There were a couple times where I didn't think the audio completely synced with the lip movement, and I didn't really think much on it. I was like, oh, it's the 60s.
There was a couple of scenes with Domino where she's speaking, but they have the camera on her shoulder, and her lips aren't moving. So they overdubbed there, which I think it's because this was in the day and age of spaghetti western, so a lot of Italian actresses and actors were getting involved. And I read through the credits, and there was a lot of Italian names, so I'm assuming, like to Kyle's point, a lot of people did not have English as their first language, so they had to overdub.
There was French and Italian for sure. Yeah. I would be surprised if they weren't French or Italian.
And it does have a spaghetti western kind of feel to it in certain parts.
Absolutely.
But they're in this church, Andrew, and what's Bond doing in this church?
I mean, he's there, quote, paying his respects, quote. He's suspect of something. I think he follows the widow back to her residence, or what?
It's the church. He goes up to like a room in the church where the widow is, and he's like, I just wanted to pay my respects. And then he goes over and then just fucking punches
the shit out of her. I laughed.
Punches her right in the fucking mouth.
He's waiting. Right, he's waiting in the room when, quote, the widow walks in, and that's when he pounces.
But what happens? We haven't told our audience though.
The widow isn't the widow. It's Jacques Bouvier.
What if we just misled the audience? It was like, yeah, he just went in there, punched this widow.
Get out of this widow. Oh, that's great.
Starting his assault early.
and then they ended up like fighting, and Sean Connery Bond grabs this this
Fire poker
and strangles him to death, and then people
after he was hit with the fire poker.
Right. And people are like knocking on the door.
He fucks him up.
Yep.
People are knocking on the doors. He's like strangling him, and he just looks back, and then he just snaps his neck.
And why does he want to kill this Jacques Bouvier?
Because he killed a couple agents from Her Majesty's Secret Service.
He's a
SPECTRE agent.
Right?
He's for sure a SPECTRE agent. I think he was number 5 or something like that. Yeah.
And
number 5.
This was my first introduction to Spectre too, by the way. In this,
I didn't know if you guys picked up on that, because that's also obviously the namesake of a Daniel Craig movie, because they used this organization multiple times.
Yes,
and
they're pretty much like the syndicate in Mission Impossible. It's pretty much the same. So Bond escapes.
How does he run away though? He gets out
into a jetpack.
He gets up on a balcony. He gets into a fucking jetpack.
And I was watching this, and I don't know. This is the first 3 minutes of this movie, and he straps on a jetpack on the roof of this church, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going there.
Yeah.
We're going there immediately. That's why I told you
Weird.
guys. We go from point A to point B very quickly.
To point C, and point C is 30 feet in the air.
This movie doesn't mess around. It gets to where it wants. It constantly moves. But he shoots himself. He launches himself way up into the sky. These guards are shooting at him with their pistols from afar. They're not hitting him.
So, yeah, these guards are very much like stormtroopers. I was reading about this too, because I was like, I wondered if it was an actual jetpack, because this is 65. I didn't even know that jetpacks were a thing in 65.
Ahead of their time.
But
they researched it for a long time.
This is an actual working jetpack that they had to fly. They flew a British pilot in to France to pilot this thing, and he was so scared. He kept telling them, he was like, I don't really want to do this. And so he ended up doing it, and he almost I think missed his landing and landed in a ravine or something, and getting incredibly hurt. I want everyone to keep tabs on the close calls and the disasters we almost had filming this film. This is number 1. The jetpack almost malfunctioned on this guy, but it was a real jetpack that they took several takes of. That's the first. But he lands next to, it was an Aston Martin, right?
That's his car.
It's almost always going to be an Aston Martin, a BMW, or a Lotus. I think I might be missing one. Somebody's going to get so upset. There's a Mustang in one of them, but he always has some beautiful exotic or British car. Lotus is a British car as well, but you're going to see that car on all the Sean Connerys. It's the Aston Martin. I believe it's the DB7. I have to again make sure I'm not talking out of my ass.
No, talk out of your ass some more. I like it.
It's DB5.
It's a beautiful car, and he lands there, and then the girl that he came to the funeral with, I'm assuming she's another agent. Did we catch her name?
No.
So she ends up he's get in the car, and so she gets in the passenger seat, which I thought was weird, because if they're getting in the getaway vehicle, she could have already been in the driver's seat with the car started. So she was just useless at this point. So he jumps in the car, and he's trying to start the car, and these guys are running down the strip just shooting at the car.
So he presses a button which activates a little shield,
like a titanium plate.
Yeah, that kind of blocks the rear view mirror, the back window, if you will. And then he puts on the fire hydrants out of the exhaust,
blows the guys away with a fucking fire.
It's like me and Grand Theft Auto with the fire truck.
Right, it really was.
Hey, it works.
It does.
It worked in this film, but they fire a total of 100 rounds and maybe hit 3 of them. The whole time,
that'll happen when you have your arm fully outstretched while you're sprinting forward. So that tracks.
We forgot to mention too. What really opened this movie was the classic gun barrel, where Sean Connery walks across the screen. There's the gun barrel. He does the shooting, and then the screen turns red. We totally forgot.
We also missed the Tom Jones song.
We haven't gotten there.
No, we haven't got there yet.
Sorry.
Because what happens after they spray the water out the back, or what we're led to believe is water, it's probably vodka. They're all of a sudden.
Please, Kyle. I think this was in England. This would have been gin.
Sorry, Jen. I'm so sorry.
I do want to say though that the intro scene with him walking and shooting and the dun 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 like that sucked me in immediately. That was
so classic.
It was so good.
So classic. I think that was the first one where he actually did it live.
Oh, really?
In a studio. I think this was the first Bond where he did it live, and then they did it a staple after that.
It 100% holds up.
Oh my God.
It was so good.
It's like the rolling sequence in Star Wars.
Yes.
It primes you for what's coming up next. And
you got to have it.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you there.
But anyways, back to our plot at hand.
We have the Tom Jones song, remember?
Yes. Oh, it was really good.
So good.
It was really good.
I told you guys, I was really hoping that you were going to like it because like it is it's probably my favorite James Bond song. Just based on like that one, Goldfinger is pretty good too.
Yes.
There's a lot of really good ones, but that one stands out to me very much because it is so beautiful and it fits the water too. It makes you think of like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something big and grand with the, and it always uses the James Bond theme at some point, which it just sucks you in more, but it's good. I would listen to that without watching the movie good. So what did you guys think?
I loved it.
I mean, and I love Tom Jones.
Tom Jones has a great voice. Timeless, iconic. Like you hear it as Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, where have you been my whole life? Actually, he's been in my whole life, but...
Well, he's still alive, too.
Still kicking?
Yeah.
What's new, pussycat?
Whoa.
He's 85 years young, baby. So, still kicking. I think he was hosting the British version of The Voice a few years ago. He was a judge, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, he's still alive and kicking.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Glad you guys liked it though. Good shit.
And then Kyle, now that we've kind of gotten the open credits out of the way, which was, I mean, like I said, all of a sudden, like I'm enjoying the start of this film. Where do we go next? What do we get?
Don't we? This is where we go to. It looks like France, or maybe somewhere in Italy, somewhere in like the Latin part of Europe.
Latin part,
because this would be where we get the Spectre meeting, right?
Yes. So we open. So this.
All right. I'm going to stop it right here because I know that everyone was thinking the same thing I was. What parallels were you drawing from this meeting? I thought about Austin Powers.
Oh yeah.
Austin Powers takes from this shit.
Right.
So. This stuff almost.
It's a spoof.
Right. Exactly. But I could not stop laughing. But anyway, I'm so sorry. So they're having a Spectre meeting, and we're getting the head of Spectre talking and getting financial reports, right, Kyle?
Mm-hmm. We're getting stuff like he's like number 5 is no longer with us. He was killed by James Bond. And everybody's just sitting back in these very 60s chairs they're like metal and leather, and they look incredibly uncomfortable.
I thought they looked plushy as hell, baby.
And they're all lined up with each other on either side of this. It looks like just an open expanse of like a table, a white table, or just a white. I don't know what.
Very sterile room.
Very sterile. It
looks kind of like a war room, and like another country's war room.
But they're giving financial reports on their nefarious activities. Like there was a ransom that got $2 million, and the drug trade, the opium sales from China to America got this many, got like 5 million or whatever.
And that was number 7, I believe, who was giving that update, and his numbers were way down from what they were expecting or projecting. And what happened to him?
It seems like every report that they gave him, he was like, there was supposed to be $1 million more, or like something. He was very.
He was like, we expected more from this. And he's like, well, numbers are numbers, I assure you. He's like, I've decided one of you is lying, because he was working with another guy. And he promptly executes the other guy. Just fucking puts a button
electrocutes
and fries him.
Yeah. The chair sinks down underneath the floor, and you hear some sort of, electrical sizzle, and chair pops up, and it's all charred, and there's no body there. And people just go about the rest of the meeting as if nothing happened.
And that's and then all I thought about was Austin Powers, and I thought about Will Ferrell being trapped under the table.
It's such a good bit. That's such a good bit.
It really burns.
Really, really burns.
Actually, I found a trap door. If someone can just open the trap door.
Good shit. But yeah, I mean, like, but as a kid, I hadn't seen Austin Powers yet, so I saw that and I thought that was horrifying because like he's there and all of a sudden he's just fried, and it sucks him into the ground, and everybody's like, okay, keep on going. That could happen to any of us.
Thanks to another man sitting on a recliner with a cat in his lap who just presses a button.
The ragdoll just fucking sitting there.
Yep.
Probably some moon bat, Andrew.
And then at this point,
my favorite.
At this point, he introduces another. Did we say number 7? What number was this guy?
Number 2. No, Largo's number. Yes.
So Largo comes in. This is where we're introduced to the villain of this movie, and they prep for a plan,
a NATO plan,
where they're going to like basically tell them we're going to steal 2 nukes and hold the United States and the United Kingdom ransom, and they're going to pay us. Well, I can't remember the sum.
It's like $100 million.
Which look that up. I want to know the inflation on that. But $100 million.
That's over $1 billion.
Yeah, I want to know the exact number. $100 million needs to be paid out to them, or they'll detonate the nuke on a random city of their choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like our plot point. And then we flash forward, and I think we're in a health spa next. Is that right?
Yes. James is there getting his mind and body taken care of.
His bruise that he has.
Bruise from the fire poker.
And I'm going to go ahead and say this. This does not pass the Bechdel test. We're just going to go ahead and say it. No.
Oh,
no,
don't even worry.
It's a 60s movie.
Don't worry about it.
100 million is 1.03 billion.
Good to know.
Wow.
So
2025.
So definitely like
inflation.
Asking for a lot of money. But yes, this movie does not pass the Bechdel test. It's a 60s movie. We're not even going to go into it. We're not even going to go into some of the things that James Bond does that's very sex, whatever. Like, you're not...
We're not going to go into any of it?
No, because there's no point. There's no point.
You
We'll be
sure?
doing this all day. There's plenty. We can talk about this first scene in the health spa where he forces himself onto this young lady.
It's like his nurse.
Yeah,
it's like his attendant.
So it's like, no, she's like his chiropractor at one point. So James Bond is recovering from his assassination of Jacques, and I think he gets a bruise on him from the fight. He's trying to have sex with this girl this whole time, and pretty much forcefully trying to have sex with her. But he runs into another person,
A SPECTRE agent
that at first is not. They don't know
Obvious.
who each other are. They don't know that he's MI6 and he doesn't know he's Spectre. Why is that guy there, Andrew?
I don't remember why he was there.
He's helping facilitate the.
He's helping
transfer.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at one point, James Bond is in this like stretch machine where he's laying down, and
It's a traction machine.
yeah, like it's a spinal decompression kind of thing, where his wrists are shackled down and his ankles are shackled down, and the machine slowly stretches him. Well, you see an arm come in, and it just puts it at the highest intensity, and it gets kind of comedic at this point because he just starts going back and forth like really fast. It's the only scene in this movie that has kind of that slapstick where you're like, whoa, this is like
Also kind of dangerous because like I feel like if we were more familiar with what that machine did, like if that was a common thing we saw in doctors' offices today, we'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so dangerous. He could really get hurt. But because we're not familiar.
Well, it's the way that they shot it too, because he wasn't really going that fast, and they just sped the film up in the editing process. So it just looked a little hokey.
It did.
But the nurse comes back in and lets him out of the machine. She's like, James, oh my God, you could have been injured. Like, let's get you taken care of here. And then she has sex with him in the sauna.
James, oh, you got hurt here.
Because he asks for information on the man who sped up the machine. He's like, oh, I can't give that out to you. And he pretty much like blackmailed her.
Started to having sex with him.
Yeah.
And then James sneaks down down the hallway and finds him, and he's in like one of those saunas that are up to your neck, and he puts a broom in it to lock it and closes the door. So he
turns up the heat too.
Tries to assassinate him. So they're both trying to assassinate each other in this like health club. But both end up failing. But what happens next, Kyle? After they both fail their assassination attempts.
So now James is like making love to the attendant that's there. he's
got a minx glove on.
Yeah, he's got a mink glove, and he's like rubbing on her, and it's like a whole thing.
Mink.
And at the same time, we have a man saying goodbye to a red-haired woman who will know a lot in this movie. and he's talking about how he's going on this. He's a pilot of something. He's got to go away because he just got called in for something. So he gets up to the edge of the door he opens the door.
He wasn't an RAF pilot, right? So he is RAF pilot. It's good to know. All right. So what happens now?
Well, now
he goes to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Opens the door,
and it is himself staring back at him.
Yep.
Through a very bad TV post effect, but it does the trick.
Yeah, it does the trick because he finds a guy that's looks just like him, and then they end up just
killing
him
with some gas.
And it sprays some kind of gas in his face, and he just dies.
He eats over.
He beefs it, and the girl gets up, and you find out she's a part of it. And basically, they killed this guy, assassinated this guy, and taken his place with this agent. But as she's talking to the agent, he decides he wants to hold Spectre for ransom. He's like, I've gotten my face surgically replaced to look like this guy.
It's not enough money. He's like, I'm going to leverage this vibe. Yeah.
You're giving me $100,000. Why don't we make it $250,000? $250,000.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah. He's like, you don't have a pilot like me. That your plan will go to shit. And so she's like, okay, fine.
You're right.
We have to. We're this far along. We have to do it. So they end up going along with this plan. So they end up with this pilot on this plane that's carrying 2 nuclear bombs. Right, Kyle?
Yep, it's a Vulcan.
And he ends up landing it in some some shallow water.
Yeah, but they've been in the air for hours.
He also
this is what James Bond finds out at the same time that that guy was killed, and he's figuring out stuff with that and thwarts an attempt against his life.
Because the guy that was killed was brought to the health spa. For whatever reason. I don't know why they chose that. Why couldn't they just thrown his body in a river or something? But they brought him back to the health spa and covered up his body. And Bond hears the commotion, and he takes off his mink glove with his lady and goes downstairs to investigate. I think he tells her, I've got to get some exercise in. And she's like, oh, of course you do now.
He's like, you must be joking. Yep.
And he goes down the stairs and sees a door open and starts exploring. And the first door on the right after the open door is the one he walks in. And there's agents in there with their guns ready to shoot. And that's when he finds the body.
Yeah.
So
he takes note of that. He's didn't.
Because it'll come to fruition here in a second when they're
not the next scene, but the scene after. But anyway, the pilot lands the plane.
He also kills everyone in the craft by depressurizing.
Well, no, he does. He takes that same canister that killed his.
Oh, that's what it was. Yes. Okay.
And he plugs it into their air system, and they just breathe poison and die within seconds. Then he takes over, and like Chase said, you see at the same time the guy in the beginning with the eye patch with the Spectre, he's the Spectre agent we've been following, is on his boat somewhere, who knows where, it's dark outside, and he's like, turn on the underwater landing lights. And they turn on, and the pilot lands on the water. Pretty good practical effects there. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That actually,
and,
all right, pretty good.
And they're in shallow water too, and then that's when the rest of the Spectre agents show up, right, and help him procure the bombs. But what happens to the pilot?
He gets killed.
Largo kills him.
They cut off his oxygen intake, and he drowns there.
What did you think was going to happen
when you held them for ransom like that?
Did you think that they were just going to let you walk free?
Take your 100G, which is worth a crap ton at that point, and get on with your life.
Right, that's over $500,000 easily.
You don't hold the ultimate underworld boss ransom ever
at the midnight hour too. Why would you do that? So they kill him and just cut that one loose end.
They take the atomic bombs, they transfer them underwater to Largo's boat.
So, and let's talk about this. This is the first underwater scene we get, and it is impressive, but it's not the most impressive we'll see. But the way that they shoot these underwater scenes, it's real. They're doing this underwater, and they just get such clear water and good depth of field with everything. So everything must have been done in a pool, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or they did it in the Caribbean waters.
I think they did it in the Caribbean waters, to be honest with you. Most of this was done there. There might have been some pool pool, but I don't know if that was...
That is pool water, especially in that area. It is so clear.
Yeah.
We saw it in the Keys this year.
Yeah,
it's very, very clear.
It's just an impressive shot, and you are just captivated by this action. One false move and you're dead kind of thing. Like, there's not much holding you to life itself there. But they end up killing the pilot, and then we cut into our next scene where it shows MI6 meeting, and it's all the 00 agents in a big room, and we have M, right? It's M that's telling them, like, hey, somebody's stolen 2 bombs, nuclear bombs, and they've left us this message. And they play a tape recorder, which is exactly what we were talking about earlier. It's like, pay this money or we will destroy a city in the United States.
100 million.
Or in the UK, you have 24 hours or something like that. You have
7 days. I think it was 7 days at that point.
Well, it's like you have 24 hours to respond.
That's what it was.
And it was like, so what was it? Ben has to strike 6 times. 7 times in this hour for us to know that you got our ransom and you're willing to meet our demands. And Bond is immediately, like, you can see in his eyes, he's like starting to put some puzzle pieces together here. And they're like, we will assign every agent to certain areas. And he goes and meets with M in his office. First, he hits on Moneypenny,
who sounded very American. Did you all?
Very American.
I was like, are you British?
More transatlantic.
Yes.
The accents in this movie are all over the place. You just got a little bit of everything. So this world that they're existing in, I liked it because it kind of felt like a worldwide organization that you would pull agents and people from all over, just the highest qualified people. So I do like that not everybody was British and not everybody was American. It just made sense like that. But Bond is hitting on her. M walks in, and he convinces M because he noticed the body
when he's looking at the briefing.
At the briefing, and he was like,
M was like, "You're going to Canada," and James was like, "I think I should go to the Bahamas." He's like, "Why?"
There's a picture of the pilot,
and he was like, "Because I found this man dead last night." And he was like, "What?" He was like, "I literally saw him," and
his sister is absolutely attractive.
Quite.
And so he's like, he uses that as another opportunity. So he's like, let me go infiltrate his sister legitimately.
Actually,
I'm going to go find out what I can find out from her because her brother's supposed to be dead, but yet he flew this plane. So that's where we're at now. And then we fast forward, Kyle, we're in the Bahamas, aren't we?
Anything else to add?
Yeah, do you
to that, Kyle? We were waiting for you to.
Yep, they're in the Bahamas, all right.
And then the credits start rolling.
Yep, that's that.
Great episode. Movie's over.
Thunderball. 10 out of 10.
Does it hold up?
Yeah, they're in the Bahamas, but I don't remember where he starts off at.
He was running, I think he was running into Domino, which is the guy's sister.
Oh, that's right. He just gets on a boat and then just finds her in the middle of the water.
And she gets
dropped down. She gets her convenient
caught.
So he's
damsel in distress. They had to do a damsel in distress here. He doesn't even really save her. He just like removes her from this rock so she can swim away. And then they surface and then he starts talking to her. And ends up pretending like his boat is broken down so he can hitch a ride with her. And he's with another...
Like agent.
Yeah, what was her name?
I'm not sure.
Paula or something like that.
Yeah, it's Paula.
So he's with another agent that helps him out. So he ends up leaving with Domino, and that's her name. What happens next after they leave and he's starting to kind of like charm his way into some information?
He's like, oh, my boat died. Oh, I'm going to have to... He's like, jiggle the ignition real quick a couple times.
He was like, I have to put my boat down.
Yeah. He's like, Shay, our motor's dead. And he's like, mind if I go back with you? And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? You're a strange man.
Aren't they back at like the hotel, the casino that night? Isn't that what's next?
I think so. And I think they're playing Baccarat again, aren't they?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So this is where Bond meets Largo. They don't know of each other, but they're like communicating. And Largo has Domino. She inadvertently leads him to Largo.
So this confused me. Was she his niece? Is that what this was?
No, just arm candy for this guy.
Okay. Because
that's all she was because he killed her brother.
Because I said something about a niece at some point, and I was like, who is she niece
I think
to?
Guardian.
That was a cover. He used that as a cover.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
he's not all over Domino. He is actually treating her like she could be his niece, and I think he's just playing that off. So he's not trying to blow their cover. And she doesn't know that her brother's dead, too. So she still thinks he's alive and that he's helped this whole plot go along. Because she's a part of it, but kind of like unwillingly a part of it, I guess, but not really.
She's a little oblivious.
Yeah, she's oblivious to it. She knows it's happening, and she's not stopping it, but she's not like really doing anything about it. But Bond and Largo end up playing cards next to each other and gambling, and Bond gets the better of him multiple times, or gets the better of him.
I think they were playing blackjack, actually. But yeah, and that pisses Largo off.
He's pretty pissed.
Yeah, he's being shown up by some handsome man who's mysterious, and
people at the table are starting to like take notice.
Yeah,
and then he like Largo is trying to be like, I gotta win my money back now, and then Domino comes over and she's like, I thought you said we were getting a drink, and Bond uses this as a chance. He's like, may I buy the young lady?
Shall I take you out, man?
yeah, there you go.
Let's go.
May I buy the young lady a drink? And he's like, sure, I'm gonna be here all night. But he's keeping an eye on Bond. He's letting him kind of like linger. So Bond and Domino go to get this drink, and then I'm getting kind of fuzzy on what happens next.
They go and start. They go out to like the terrace and sit down. I think they order food, drink. They get up and start dancing. And
he orders Dom Perignon.
yeah, he's asking her a whole bunch of questions and stuff like that.
Wait, and I want to ask Kyle: is that a big thing in Bond? Does he always order Dom Perignon?
Dom Perignon's a big one.
Okay.
I don't think they do Moët Chandon. It's usually Dom Perignon.
Yeah, that's like I picked it up because it was in Goldeneye too. Like when he opened the glove box. So
or Bollinger. I think they have Bollinger a lot. Yeah. Like it's usually a very fancy, like
champagne.
Sparkling. Yeah, champagne.
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 So at one point during this whole thing, Bond figures out that Domino is not his niece but his mistress, and they're playing kind of a little bit of a cat and mouse game. And they end up kind of leaving each other alone at one point. And then Bond meets up with Q to get his equipment at this point.
Correct.
Yeah, did you see how young he is?
Yeah, Q is very young. So and he gives him a couple of things. There's two things that stands out. He gives him a rebreather.
Yeah.
That he
pretty
can
cool.
Pretty cool. And it's so cool that the British military called the producers and directors of this movie to see how they built it because they thought it was real.
Oh, and it wasn't though.
It wasn't. They were like, "How long can it work underwater?" And the director told the guy over the phone, he was like, "Well, as long as the person can hold their breath." And he was like, "What are you talking about? Like he was underwater for a very long time in the movie." And he was like, "Yeah, that's the magic of editing, you idiot."
Fucking morons.
He gives him a rebreather so Bond can like basically just breathe underwater for a very long time. And then he gives him a camera that is capable of taking photos underwater. And then what happens next, Andrew?
Go to Palmyra, doesn't he go to Largo's resort for brunch or whatever?
He goes to the ship. And he goes underwater with the ship.
Oh, that's right. He starts taking photos.
He takes the pictures of the underwater hatch.
Yes.
And they know that there's someone down there, and they send someone down with a harpoon or whatever, and they drop grenades into the water below the boat in hopes to kill Bond, but got the pictures that he needed and wanted.
And the pictures basically showed that the vessel, the yacht that Largo is on, has a massive cargo hold and massive hatch doors that would fit nuclear bombs.
Correct.
So he's starting to put two and two together that Largo is SPECTRE, and he's responsible for the nuclear bombs. And then what happens next, Kyle, after kind of Bond escapes that assassination attempt by Largo?
So isn't it the next day that they go and they look for the, I'm going to call it, it's the, shit.
No, this is where he swims. He swims to the shore. Right? He swims to the shore first, and then he gets picked up by redheaded lady, and I think she figures out who he is.
And you have Paula too, the special agent. He finds out that Paula had been abducted, so Largo is on to Bond. And
yes.
He took Paula, the other agent that was with him, and she's a capture, but she commits suicide. so that she doesn't talk.
Cyanide pill.
Yep.
After taking his surveillance photos, he swims to the main island and he hitchhikes.
He gets picked up by the red-haired lady.
The red-haired lady, whatever her name
You know
is.
what kind of car they were driving?
No.
Volpe?
Is
that her name?
Something
maybe.
like that.
That was the first Mustang to come out.
Oh, nice.
Was it a 63?
Yeah, it was a Mustang.
Yeah, was it a 63 Mustang?
No, I think it's a 65.
Okay.
It's Fiona is her name. And she's very much involved with Spectre. They're going back to the hotel, the resort together, and this is where she just starts speeding off into the night down some island road. She gets over 100 miles per hour.
100 miles an hour, which I'm like, yeah, bull.
She's like, "Are you scared, Mr. Bond?" And he's like, "I mean, you're going a little fast." Not really
Could have been
scared.
kilometers an hour.
It probably was kilometers an hour, but regardless, it was still fast. In a small, island road.
Like a 2-lane island road.
Yeah.
It turns into a 1-lane at one point.
And she's clearly trying to like get a rise and scare him, and it was like a power play in the moment.
Back road Kentucky kind of roads.
Oh, yeah.
You know all about that.
Oh, all about those. Yeah, baby. But yeah, they get to the hotel and
she's really hitting on him.
says goodnight to Fiona, and then the next day
they're doing an investigation of like the area.
he goes out on
They do a number of, they're like looking at stuff and like, oh, there's that must be Largo's estate. Like they find the missing aircraft.
He goes helicopter surveillance with CIA agent Felix.
And this is where some of the best like shots and also some of the best music comes from in this. It's like those big grand shots of the aircraft over water or the things in water, and the overviews is like very quintessential to this movie. That sets it apart and makes it unique, I would say. Very beautiful sweeping shots, and they land this helicopter in a shallow reef in the Bahamas, and he's like, shoot one of the sharks, and the guy shoots one of the sharks and it just kills it. That was a real shot of a shark. I don't know if they shot it for that movie or if it was just B-roll that they got, but
get to that on the B-roll part, but I think it's from a later scene, but it is in fact B-roll that they got, but I'll save that for when we get to that scene. And Kyle, you probably know the scene I'm talking about, but he ends up finding the plane while they're kind of like snooping around. So he finds the plane, and what else does he find, Kyle?
He finds the dead bodies, and he also finds the guy that he lookaliked before, the lookalike man. Takes his flight mask off, his oxygen mask, and it shows his face, and then he gets his watch and what else did he get? His dog tag.
Yeah, and he also had a watch on Bond checks that Q gave him before he went out too, so he
goes positive for nuclear. Even though it's like, of course it would at that point. It's the missing plane, so like how would it not have the bombs? But he looks anyway, so he knows that they must be around the area.
Or he knows that that's the plane that they're looking for.
That's the NATO plane.
Yeah, so he knows that there's enough of a nuclear like tag on them. He's like, yeah, they came from this plane, and that'll come up later. And then that's when we get to Palmyra, right?
Yep.
So he goes to Palmyra for the celebration, and this is where everything starts to kind of like boil over, because at this point they know Bond's onto them and he's on to Largo.
I was going to say, when he gets there, I want to talk about just kind of the tour that Largo gives him of Palmyra.
Give us the tour.
I mainly just want to get to the pool of sharks that he has on his little impound. That was so cool.
Yeah, so which will come up, and that we'll talk about that B-roll when we get there. But he does show him a pool of sharks, and that's going to come up at some point. It's a massive compound. It's gorgeous.
Very pretty.
But there's just a giant pool out in his
And those
backyard.
are real sharks.
They're real sharks.
Very real sharks.
The sharks that they used in this movie are real. This would not this movie would not be able to be filmed today. Not even close. Or at least not in the way that they filmed it then. But they used real sharks in every scene. So we're seeing these sharks swim around. Like I said, they're on to each other, but they end up at the celebration that night.
He does a lot of exploring at this point of the
he's picking up evidence left and right
of Palmyra. I mean, this is where he finds his
after we have the sequence with him Largo taking Bond ski shooting, and he And he says something to like,
Are you good with guns, or do you know guns very well?
And he's, no, not really. Is it terribly hard? And he's like, perhaps you'd pull one for me. And Largo pulls one for him, and he goes like, he just looks at Largo and then looks over, hip shoots the.
Which I was laughing. I was like,
and then looks back and he's like, turns out it's not. He's like,
just a fire from your hip, like with.
Fucking awesome. Like such a cool thing. That always stuck with me as like one of the cooler moments of this whole thing.
And then we end up getting to the celebration, and they try to assassinate Bond at this point.
Yeah.
And how does Bond thwart it, Andrew?
I don't remember.
So he sees one of the agents. Bond catches it out of the corner of his eyes, and he's dancing with Fiona, and she's basically trying to take his attention away so that they can kill him. And he pulls her right in the way of the bullet, and it just hits her in the lower back.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And she dies.
Then
he sets her down at the table, and he's like, watch my friend real quickly. She's just dead. And then like walks away. She's just dead. And that was it. And he says it's so that got an audible laugh out of me because it was so deadpan.
The Bond one-liners, when they hit. Like there's nothing better than a Bond one-liner. So Andrew, after the assassination attempt, what happens next?
I mean, he goes back to Palmyra. It's dark. He's wearing all black. Correct.
I think it's the same night.
It's the same night.
So he just escapes the party.
At this point. Junkanoo is further inland on the island. He goes to the outskirts where this compound is, and this is where he's trying to really infiltrate the compound, Palmyra itself.
Right. Like once you try to assassinate him, it's like the game's on.
Yeah. He knows where the epicenter of all this shit is happening.
And this movie hits a fever pitch at this point. It is balls to the wall right now. So he ends up basically kind of looking for clues and everything, and he finds doesn't he find the watch?
Yeah.
No, he had the watch from the exploration.
He had the watch. He's going through like certain tunnels and like layers down below. I think he finds his former agent.
Yep.
I forgot her name, but she's
Paula.
Yeah, she's dead in a room. They took her in there to interrogate, but she
took the cyanide pill.
Cyanide pill. She was already dead. He takes a look at her, walks away. He gets out. He gets back out. He gets discovered. People shoot at him, and there's a whole chaos of firing.
Action scene.
I think what he does is he shoots at someone once things go a little silent. He shoots at someone while not being realized, which causes them to freak out and just fire out in the open. And Largo's like, "Stop! Stop! Stop! He wants you to be chaotic." And then
it's like he's got you shooting at each other.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And then it ends up at Bond in the pool with the sharks.
Yep.
Which I want to talk about. So these are real sharks in this pool too that they're in. Bond is in there with several other agents, right? Or several other SPECTRE agents. It's just an all-out war, which I don't know why they would get in there with the sharks. Like, he was already in there with sharks. And these are man-eating sharks. They're trying to attack. Sean Connery actually swam with these sharks. This was not a stuntman. Sean Connery was so worried about this scene that the director's like, okay, all right. We'll put up a partition in the middle of the pool. And so they can get there. It's going to be plexiglass. They can get close to you, but they can't get to you. Well, they didn't order enough plexiglass, so there was only 4 feet of it. So sharks were in and out of that plexiglass as Sean Connery's in the scene. And the best part is, that there's a scene too where Sean's like swimming and there's a shark getting closer and closer and closer. Well, they were like, okay, we'll use a dead shark and just pull it. And the shark came to life. It wasn't dead.
Golly.
So as it starts moving, it starts bleeding in the water, which sends the other sharks into a frenzy as Sean Connery is trying to swim from it, and they're dragging this shark towards Sean Connery.
And meanwhile, the pool is probably covered because they have that
the partition.
The partition.
So the sharks are getting around the partition. So all it does is make it a little closet for Sean Connery to die in. Is basically what they created. But the stunt coordinator is pulling the shark at the same time. So he's underneath the water in all this. Sean Connery, as the sharks start getting into a feeding frenzy, Sean Connery barely gets out of the pool, but the stunt coordinator is trapped underneath all these sharks, like just tearing this shark apart. And then and the director's like, roll the cameras. So they that's how they got the B footage of the shark.
It's fucking dark.
tearing a shark apart. It really happened.
So many union violations.
Oh my God. So the stunt coordinator, he swims out from under the partition and swims over there, and like he basically, like, they had to calm him down. He won like, I think, an Oscar for like best special effects.
I mean, it was pretty. It felt pretty legitimate.
It was very, like, you can imagine how horrifying that would have been.
He gets shoved into this pool with this agent,
and they're bull sharks too.
Yeah, then bull sharks are the meanest.
Bull sharks are, I think, responsible for the most
deaths,
human attacks.
Yes.
I don't know if those were bull sharks. They might have been like reef sharks or something.
Yeah, I don't know if those were bull sharks.
They were bigger than reef sharks.
There's a lot of tiger sharks and a lot of like reef sharks and white tips that are like, I think they shoot.
And black tips too, truth be told.
There might be black tips in there. I might have seen one.
I don't know about in that movie, but in that region, in that area, they're the black tips.
That they were definitely a little bit bigger than reef sharks. I'm not sure. They could have been. Like,
I don't think they were bull sharks. Bull sharks are a little bit beefier. They're not quite as long, but they are girthy, strong sharks, and these weren't that. These might have been like lemon, maybe something of the sort. Yeah. But they're sharks with teeth.
I mean, they were obviously aggressive enough in this film to like go into a feeding frenzy with Sean Connery's feet inches away from their mouth. Like, it's impressive.
So James is stuck under this pool, this partition that Largo turns on. He kills the other agent. He gets out his breathing apparatus. He goes to the trap door that they've opened, so the sharks are going to come in from their lair into the swimming pool. Waits for him to pass. I think he goes into the tunnel, and that's where he like dodges that one, but he swims out to escape thanks to his breathing apparatus.
Right, and he gets through the pool scene, and then this is where, and we're going to speed up. We can't go through everything. I mean, there's just so much that happens.
We've already tried.
And we tried, and we were all over the place, but he ends up meeting up with Domino and revealing to her that her brother is dead, and that he needs her help to take down Largo. And at first, Domino is kind of like not willing to help him, but he's like, millions of people are going to die if you do not help. Yeah. Which this, Kyle, launches probably the best scene. This has to be the best scene in the James Bond universe. I'm going to go ahead and stand on this right now. The final action sequence of this film, it's like 20 minutes. It is a full underwater war between MI6, FBI, and SPECTRE, and it is an underwater war because SPECTRE's trying to move the nuclear warheads, and they're caught in the middle of moving it. And we just have, Kyle, how do you even describe this scene to the audience at home?
So it's shot, like the way the shots give you scale, you can really see how much of an open area it plays out over. And the whole point here is that Bond tries to infiltrate them getting the bombs because he knows the bombs are around. So he infiltrates. He goes to where they are, like where they have the bombs. He gets caught. He escapes. He gets like funneled into an underwater cave. He has his radio beacon. He's swallowed. He sets off a flare. He gets found. From there, this is like the last, and it like speeds up. It gets more and more intense, and like it's such a slow burn, but it's worth the payoff because you get a full underwater battle, like Chase said, and it begins with Largo's boat being out in the middle of the ocean. They're prepping. They got everything like made, their little underwater submersible.
They're heading to Miami, right?
You would be led to believe.
And that's what I think Domino reveals. That's where they're going. And Domino's on the boat, Largo's boat.
And she is trying to figure out how, like, because James gave her a Geiger counter and a camera. She gets found out by Largo. She's about to get killed. But Largo is like, they're like, you can tell us about we're in range behind you. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I got to go now. So he gets ready, goes underwater, and they're little pitiful little band, and they begin their journey. But then all of a sudden, you see overhead, everybody looks up, and there's an airplane. And out of the airplane, I think it's a C-130, comes a whole bunch of parachutes. And the parachutes, you zoom in, they start hitting the water, and there's a bunch of Coast Guard scuba divers, like with spear guns and knives and shit, and it's like, oh, damn, it's on. So they go down and immediately start attacking, and there's just this giant underwater battle that's shot from like 30 or 40 different angles throughout the whole thing.
It is so impressive. I have never seen anything like this in my entire life, which I'd heard going into this movie that this scene is something you have to behold. And even if you're out there and you have no interest in watching a Bond film, just skip to this scene and watch it, or watch it on YouTube or something. It's worth seeing.
It's silly when you think about, they fought underwater, maybe 100 feet down, maybe 200 feet down.
I don't think they were that far. I think
it was pretty shallow water.
Regardless, it's deeper water. It's not your average 5-foot pool.
Yeah.
Like they're down a bit, but they're literally having a war on the ocean floor.
And like,
it sounds stupid, but like the way that they caught it and the way that
it was very realistic.
It's very realistic.
Because like the guys are like scrapping against each other, trying to pull their mask off and trying to pull their breathers out. It's very realistic. People are like taking their knives out and trying to cut the line.
Well, people getting shot in the chest by
spear
yeah,
guns.
Lots of spear gun getting.
And there's one scene where Bond's there and he's trying to like get to Largo and he's getting captured and fighting off. And there's one scene where Bond's going through and there's just bodies laying everywhere. Like the people get shot and they just die and they like just float there. It's horrific. It's just so well done that it's just hard to explain how they did this, because it is like a war movie at this point. It was a very well done action sequence underwater. Everything that you saw was underwater, and nothing was hokey about it.
Was anything done like this up to this point in film?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's been done since this. No telling how long they had to rehearse this, or the safety precautions.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah,
or lack thereof,
the lack thereof. But like, I mean, you just think about like how easily you can mess up here, because these are probably all stuntmen, and I think Sean Connery was doing his own stunts at this time, because Sean Connery was a great swimmer. He's known for that, and he did
pretty athletic guy.
He did a lot of the swimming stunts in this. I'm not sure about how much of this he did. And like, you have to film this thing in segments too, because people have to come up for air, whatnot. But like, it's so seamless. It looks like it's all one giant scene. Was the way that they cut it, the way they edited it. Like, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It's probably the most impressive James Bond scene that there is, and everything lives up to the moment. The score is great, the fight choreography is great, the shots are great. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful looking, like how the water, like the lighting with the waters is very evocative. It's very cool.
And Kyle, we talk a lot of, like, we watch all of our movies streaming because it's usually the easiest access we got, and we've got the library for it. But this movie with a 4K remastered, I bet this scene would look amazing right now. And I know that there is a 4K cut of this film. I want to see the 4K remastered of this like scene, because it looks great on streaming. It's not murky water. You can see everything that's going on. You can even see the air bubbles when someone dies. It's so impressive to watch this and unfold. But
this is exactly what I wanted people to get out of this movie. It's like, I think this is why I think it's the most underrated of all of Sean Connery's, and possibly the franchise, just for what it does in that last little bit, and all the stuff they use, those little submersible, like, underwater jet skis, and the thing that Sean Connery has on his back that like propels him through the water. That's like a massive scuba tank, like underwater jetpack. Like, it's so cool, and it's still cool today. That's the other thing to remember too.
By the way, we skipped over something that I want to bring up as trivia. There's 2 movies that James Bond has been shot in. Can you name those, Kyle?
I want to say, well, it's this one. He gets shot in this one.
He gets shot in this one. There's only one other James Bond movie where he gets shot in.
Is it a Daniel Craig movie?
It is.
Skyfall.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 movies where Bond suffers a gunshot wound.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah, very strange.
Great luck there, honestly.
Lacerations for sure.
But to go watch this scene. That's what we're saying here on this. If you get anything from this episode, just go watch this scene. Find it on YouTube. Go find the 4K if you can. I bet it would look amazing. It's well worth your time, especially if you love cinema, you love cinematography. and the organization of shots and edits. This is it. This is what movies are made for. This kind of scene right here. But skipping ahead, just kind of give you like what we got going on. Bond ends up getting through the chaos and meeting up with Largo on his ship. How he ends up doing this is Largo's like trying to run from the rest of the Coast Guard, and they're firing like cannonballs and missiles. So Bond grabs onto like this propeller. It's not really a propeller, but it's like this wing part of this boat, and he's holding on to it as the boat's trying to get away.
It's a hydrofoil.
Hydrofoil.
Thank you, Kyle.
That's a real thing that boats have used experimentally and otherwise to go faster because there's less drag on the water, I believe is what it is, and it elevates the ship out of the water to go faster.
And the reason it has this is because it has a shell on it. So they end up smoking the back of the boat to create kind of a smoke screen, and then the shell of the boat comes off. So what they're doing is they're creating a diversion where the Coast Guard's going to catch up with this shell that has men on it. It looks like that's the entire boat.
No atomic weapons.
But no atomic weapon, or Largo gets away. So the rest of the boat kind of starts to get away. That's where Bond gets onto the top of the ship, and he gets into a final face-off with Largo, and they have this fist fight. Domino is saved by the nuclear war, or the nuclear warhead expert that's on the boat. He ends up having a he ends up having a conscience, and like he's like, I can't do this. So he ends up saving Domino and like basically releasing her from her handcuffs. But as they get into this huge fist fight, Bond ends up fighting off the men, and there's one point where he just yeets a guy off the boat.
He's like, you're done now.
Yeah, and that made me laugh. I don't know why. They get into this fist fight, and then that's where we end up with Domino shooting Largo.
She gets the last laugh.
So like Largo's about to shoot Bond, and you're like, uh-oh, it's lights out for our hero, and then that's where Domino shoots him.
Boom. See ya.
And he falls on the steering wheel and jams the controls.
Yeah, and they can't stop the...
He's a very large man, too.
He's not that large, but he's hefty.
Large enough to jam some controls on a speedboat.
Sure, I'll give you that. And this boat starts going full steam ahead towards Haraki Island. No. They can't stop it.
So this is the funny part of the movie to me, because he grabs the scientist and he grabs Domino, and the scientist is like, what? I don't know how to swim. And he's like, it's a good day to learn. And so they all jump off the boat, and it just crashes into the rocks and explodes. And the explosion was way bigger than they expected it to be.
But it was still not as big as what it should have been, right?
Well, it's just the way they filmed it, because there was nothing around it to give you the scale of the explosion. The explosion was so massive that I think that they got warned by the
like Bahamian government.
Yeah, like it was so big, and it actually like almost like caught other people on fire.
But if there were 2 literal nuclear warheads on that, wouldn't the explosion have
Well, they got the warheads off.
How did they? Oh, that's right, they did.
Yeah,
you're right.
Agents were able to steal the warheads back.
That's right, yeah.
But what's funny about all this is it's Bond and Domino in the water, and we never see that guy, the scientist. Did you notice that, Kyle?
Yeah, we never really see. He probably gets eaten by sharks immediately.
he gets shoved off with a life vest, and then he doesn't give a shit about it. So Bond like grabs a lifeboat. He's able to blow up a lifeboat, and him and Domino just kind of embrace on that boat. And then you see like a rocket ship or a rocket.
Something.
It says something on the rocket. I can't remember what it says. And
it's like cool.
And then like this. And then okay. And then so the rocket goes in the air. It's like a balloon, and then you see this jet come by with a sky hook, and it takes Domino and him away, leaves the scientist.
It's
stupid, but you let it happen.
That's actually a real thing that they did.
Yeah,
it is, but just the way that it unfolded and
very dangerous to use a woman that's not trained to like take a sky hook too. So it's like, I don't know why there were ships out there at sea. Why don't they just like drive a ship over and pick them up? They didn't have to do the sky hook thing, but they did. And then that's where it ends. And that's Thunderball.
That's literally the end. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
The doctor's dead. You're right. They never show him, and he doesn't get off. They get sky hooked out of there. And that's Thunderball.
Credits roll.
Credits roll, and that's the first Sean Connery Bond I ever saw.
There you go.
From start to finish, anyway.
Well, it's your first, so
you never forget your first.
Tell us. You're always asking us immediately. We're going to ask you. How do you feel about it? What are your initial thoughts?
So Kyle kind of used this earlier. I think it was you, Andrew. You used this earlier where you're talking about it's film noir.
Yeah, it has that feel.
This is film noir. This is spaghetti western. I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for all this. This is the wheelhouse that I like to live in. The action sequences are great. I did lose track of the plot a little bit, but that's on my own accord because there's a lot going on.
It moves really quickly. The dialogue is fast.
There's a lot of characters.
If you don't have subtitles, if you don't have extreme attention, you're going to miss something.
Yeah. So, and I think I was texting or something when I was watching this. And if you lose 5 minutes, you lose a lot. And I had to go, and it's about, 2 hours?
It was 2 hours, 2 hours and 5 minutes, something like that.
The underwater scene is worth watching this alone. Just all that, the way that they shot all those scenes, we talk about the special effects in this, it's basically effects. There's no special to it. They just do everything in this movie. Nothing seemed too crazy. It was pretty grounded in realism. I like the simple idea of somebody stealing nuclear warheads and using that as ransom. I just totally see that. The sharks in the pool is kind of hokey, but it's cool.
Still cool.
It's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I see why Sean Connery is picked up as the best Bond. Again, I can't go that far yet because I have not seen all the Bonds. So I'm going to leave that for another day. But as far as a movie goes, I mean, this is an action movie at its best. There's not much more to say. You can nitpick some things. You can say, is this thing timeless in certain areas? Yes, it has that misogynistic attitude towards it, but it's not really as bad as I was expecting for a 1965 film. I know what I'm getting into. It's a great 60s movie. It's got that kind of film grain to it, but you can tell it's well paced, well budgeted. That's my initial thoughts. Kyle, we already know this is one of your favorite Bond films, if not your favorite Bond film. Andrew, what did you think?
I hadn't seen a Connery film in a long, long time, and honestly, my memory of that film is super fuzzy. Honestly, it stemmed from Russia with Love video game that came out, I don't know, it was PlayStation 2 era, long time ago. So honestly, my foundation of Connery Bond wasn't great, so I was excited to watch this. I didn't really know what to expect, but I was captivated from that opening scene with him walking and shooting down the tunnel and the theme playing I was brought in immediately. And the mood, the ambiance, the music, everything, it was all pretty captivating. Yeah, there were some hokey moments. There's obviously some sexual stuff that's just oh, okay, yeah, that's not... But it's of that era, it's of that...
But when you think of Bond, and we came off Gold,
exactly.
We came off GoldenEye. The hokiness is kind of part of the charm.
Part of that, and him.
But
being,
this isn't that hokey.
No, and him being a womanizer was a known thing. That's what the character of James Bond is. Sue me for not turning a blind eye or not giving a shit.
It's a 1960s movie.
Yeah.
It's just you don't watch it if you're going to get that specific.
Seriously. But it was incredibly entertaining, and I was into it the entire time. I want to go back and watch all of the movies for Connery now at this juncture because I was not sure if it was dated. I was not sure if it would be able to draw me in. Because, the dialogue's a little fast. Sometimes you can't hear things. It's an older film, but it still does the trick.
It was interesting with the dialogue and the way that they had to dub over some stuff. It never took me out of it, but it is, like I said, I use spaghetti western a lot because I like spaghetti westerns. I like kind of watching westerns, and that happens so much that I just put it in that echelon of movies. Kyle, do you have any final quick thoughts for us?
I mean, this is exactly why I want people to watch it, because I think y'all are kind of hitting on what I'm talking about. It's not going to win any Oscars for acting or for set design necessarily, but the score is phenomenal. The shots are phenomenal. The story is phenomenal. And the ending fight sequence, if anything, you need to watch it just for that. It's
just to understand what we're talking about. Like we went on and on about it, but like it's hard to, we can't do it justice on this podcast.
No.
Yeah, this is more entertaining of a thing to watch, of a media to watch, than most anything coming out on the streaming services right now. I'm going to say that and stand by it. It's very good. So instead of going to watch a new dumb movie or a silly show, why don't you watch this instead? Because I think that you will. I think if you enjoy 07, if you enjoy action movies in general, it won't be lost on you. And if you like old movies that are shot beautifully, I don't think it would be lost on you.
Yeah, I agree. Kyle, does it hold up?
Yes.
Andrew, does it hold up?
Yes.
Yeah, we're 3 for 3 on this. And I kind of figured we were all going to agree on that. But here's the one thing I wonder if we're going to agree on or get close. Kyle, if you had to give it an IMDb rating, what would you give it?
8.6.
Oh, wow. I'm not going to go that high. I'm going to do like a 7.3.
Okay. I'm back and forth on it. I'm notoriously hard on these movies. I'm going to say 7.5.
Okay.
Which is, in my eyes, if I'm giving something a 7.5, that is something you need to go watch. Definitely. I absolutely enjoyed it.
I think we'll go ahead and say the reason why I give it such a high rating is because I could watch this movie whenever.
And you have a nostalgia for this movie too, like that probably fuels into that. I know that we do this podcast to try to like cut that, but that's the point we're making is like me and Andrew don't have any ties to this movie other than just watching it now, and we can respect the movie as an old movie for what it does and some of the impressive set pieces and stuff that it's able to pull off at that time period. That's like high praise from us. But with if I grew up watching this with my dad, yeah, this would be in the 8s.
Yeah, it'd
maybe
be higher.
Even 9s.
First time though, you know, I'm looking at it as just a movie, and I am trying to score it the same way I've scored every single movie we've watched thus far. So yeah. I think on IMDb it's a 6.9, which I think is low, but hey, 6.9, nice number. So
it's what you're going to give every James Bond movie you ever watch, right?
Yeah.
This movie deserved a 6.9 over GoldenEye. There's a little bit more.
It was better than GoldenEye.
It was better than GoldenEye. But GoldenEye, I still stand that GoldenEye is a great James Bond movie.
Still a solid flick.
I absolutely enjoyed my time with GoldenEye, and I really enjoyed my time with this one. I had to give this one a higher rating than GoldenEye, if not for the water scene alone.
It's just a better movie all around, though.
I don't like. There's still so much I want to see of Bond, but now we just have to wash our mouths with something awful. You know what's coming next?
No.
This one's for my brother. If he's listening, he's been listening to this series. He's enjoyed it. But we're doing Moonraker.
Oh, we are, aren't we? I thought we were going in a different direction, and I was getting really excited again.
That direction may still come, but we got Moonraker next.
This is Roger Moore, right?
This is the 70s at its worst. 70s.
Well, the reason we're doing Moonraker is my brother said it's batshit insane. So when you say it like that, we have to do it, right? We're doing Moonraker, which it gets mixed reviews from the James Bond fans. Some people really talk highly about it, and some people really hate it.
We'll have to dissect that.
Yeah,
we watch.
It's going to be at least an interesting topic to talk about. But in the meantime, we just wrapped up Sean Connery's addition to this series. We just reached into your childhood nostalgia. We pulled out, possibly if it's in your childhood nostalgia, Thunderball, and found out it really does hold up, especially the underwater scene. You need to go back and catch that. In the meantime, you can always catch us on Instagram, TikTok. Let us know what you would like to see coming down the road. Let us know what you think of Thunderball. What's your favorite James Bond film? What's your favorite James Bond? Let us know. And we'll see you all next week when we look at the batshit insane Moonraker.